Hello and welcome to my channel. My name is Nicole and this video is about my favorite 35mm film stocks. If you're new here and like photography content, you should definitely like and subscribe because that is one of the things I post on this channel and I would really appreciate it. So I have been doing digital and film photography for around 10 plus years now, give or take. And over the years I have shot a lot of film. And I do have my long-term favorites, but I have been trying to branch out more and try different film stocks. It's just really hard once you find your favorites, you really tend to stick with them. So in this group of 5 film stocks, I'll mention some that I've been shooting for a while and some that I have more recently started to enjoy shooting and will incorporate more into my film photography. And since this is a film photography video, I will show example photos with the different kinds of film stocks that I have been enjoying lately. Also for reference, I do tend to do most of my film photography when I travel. So in the future, I hope to do more travel and film photography content. So if that interests you, you should definitely like and subscribe because that is something I will be doing more when I have the time and safer to do so. The first film stock I will be talking about is my ride or die film stock. The film stock that I will keep on using and will stock up if it ever gets discontinued, but hopefully it will not get discontinued, and that is Fujifilm Superior 400. Now, I know one of the reasons I definitely like this is because it's cheap. It is way more affordable than films like Kodak Portra and stuff like that, but one of the main and most important reasons I like Fujifilm Superior 400 is that the greens and the blues look really nice in photos. I personally take a lot of landscape photos, so obviously landscape will include things like nature, such as trees and grass, and I just think Fujifilm Superior has really nice green in the film. When you take the photo, the green looks really nice, and same with the blues, and green is my favorite color. So that also probably is why I like Fujifilm Superior 400. I know that it has more of a clunky grain, but that to me is part of its charm, and that's part of the charm of film, is the grain. Now I do like film that is more fine grained, and Fujifilm Superior 400 is definitely more coarser, but I feel like that is what makes the film look unique, and the colors with it give it that iconic Fujifilm look that you don't see in Kodak films or cinestill films or Ilford films. I will say though that if you underexpose Fujifilm Superior 400, the shots definitely do not come out as nice, so I always recommend that you just hit the exposure right or you overexpose and it still looks really nice. The colors are bright and saturated, and of course those greens and blues be popping in those film photos. And obviously Fujifilm Superior 400 is more of a budget film, so when you're shooting this you shouldn't be expecting like professional looking image quality stuff that would land on like the cover of Vogue or Time magazine kind of thing. But for what it is, just to take photos and enjoy the process of doing film photography, I really love using Fujifilm Superior 400. My second favorite film stock is also probably the most popular film stock in the film photography community. So if you can guess what it is, you're probably right. And that is Kodak Portra 400. One thing I will say though that I do not like about Portra 400, which I think other people will agree with, is the cost. Portra 400 is on the pricier side for film photography, but there's no other film like Portra 400. It is so versatile like Superior, but instead of the grain, it's more fine, and the color palette of Portra is just really beautiful. It does landscapes well, it does portraits well, hence the name Portra. So in terms of versatility, Portra is really great. And I honestly held off shooting Portra for a while because of the price. And I wish I did dive in a little bit sooner with Portra 400. So my goal is definitely to try to shoot more Portra 400 and not just use it to take landscape photos and stuff like that, but actually try to take both indoor, outdoor photos of people and objects to try to improve my film photography skills. In comparison to Superior 400, Portrait 400 is definitely more muted in terms of colors. Not saying there's no color at all, but the colors aren't as punchy compared to Fujifilm Superior 400 or Kodak Ultramax, which is Kodak's other 400 speed film that's a little bit more budget friendly. But Portrait 400 does have these unique colors, which I don't think I've seen in other film stocks. And I just think that is part of the charm and the fact that it doesn't have a lot of grain. Now I do like grain, but I also like fine grain. So I think Portrait 400 is one of my favorites because it is very iconic and it is different. Same with Superior 400, to me it's very different and unique. So that is one of the reasons why I like it. The third favorite film stock that I enjoy shooting is Kodak Go 200. Now this is also partially because of nostalgia, because Kodak Go 200 is what my parents use for digital cameras were a thing, and when we go on family trips, my parents shot Kodak Go 200. There's just something very nostalgic about shooting Go 200 on a point and shoot film camera. And going on trips or with your friends, just doing things and taking pictures with a film camera over the summer, Kodak Go 200 just excels at that. Now I know for some people Go 200 is way too warm toned for their liking, but I think just Kodak Go just reminds me of summer and vacation and just good times and vibes all around kind of thing. So I do enjoy shooting Go 200, but I don't feel like shooting Portrait 400 because Portrait 400 is a little pricey, as I mentioned before. But Kodak Go 200 has very nice rich colors and tones, and it just looks nice when you take photos of people and landscapes. And with that grain, it just gives it that nice nostalgic film look that I always like to strive for. Now I know some people don't like how Kodak Go 200 is very warm tone. If you don't like warm tones as much, I would definitely recommend shooting Kodak Color Plus 200. That is a little bit more neutral toned if you want more of a budget friendly option versus Portrait 400. Or you can also try shooting Fujifilm Superior 400 or their C200 film if you want not as warm tone film as Kodak Go 200, because it is very warm tone, so it definitely has a certain look to it that some people may or may not want when they shoot film. The fourth favorite film stock that I enjoy shooting is also the only black and white film stock that I will be mentioning in this 5 favorite film stock list, and that is Kodak 400 TriX. Now I like Kodak 400 TriX because of the contrast and the grain. The contrast in Kodak 400 TriX is really great and large, I guess you can say. So things are very contrasty and I just like the way it looks. And also the grain. Kodak TriX has a grain compared to T-Max. T-Max is more fine grain. So I guess you can compare to Kodak Ultramax versus Portrait in terms of grain, I guess you can say, for lack of better comparison. But I like the grain in black and white film photography because when I think of black and white film photography, I think of film grain. And a lot of famous black and white photographs taken back in the day was with 400 TriX, and just has that classic black and white film look. And to me, that is one of the appeals of film photography, is just that black and white grain look. It's so classic, you can't go wrong. And for me, 400 TriX does it. At 400 speed, TriX has a great exposure latitude. You can shoot in a variety sort of lighting situations, and the film is very forgiving. Like, I shot TriX completely manual, I used size 16, and all my shots turned out really great. Versus other certain film stocks, you have to hit the exposure right or else your photos look kind of junky. But TriX is very forgiving, so that's one of the other reasons why I like to shoot 400 TriX. The fifth and final favorite film stock that I like to shoot is also one of the more recent films that I try to shoot, and that is Cinestill 800T. Now, Cinestill 800T is not necessarily a beginner film since it is on the pricier side and it requires different settings than shooting the other films, I would say, to some degree. But I like cyberpunk and I guess outrun late night sort of vibes. And Cinestill 800T definitely gives me that look of being in like Blade Runner or just any sort of cyberpunk kind of film. And I really enjoyed shooting it when I shot it in California, so I hope that in the future I'll be able to shoot Cinestill 800T in Asia, because unfortunately when I was in Asia for like a long time, Cinestill 800T wasn't really produced at the time, since it is a relatively new film stock. So my dream is to hopefully one day, when safe and I have the time, is to go to cities like Hong Kong and Shanghai or Tokyo and be able to shoot Cinestill 800T. Even though I know it's all over the internet and there's a lot of people that shoot those films in those places, but I always wanted to do my own version and my own take, because that is part of photography. You know, just because someone takes, like, everyone's taking a lot of photos of famous landmarks or famous cities and stuff like that, is not the same as you personally going and taking that photo. But to me, Cinestill 800T just has a very unique look, and when you look at a photo, you can tell it was shot with Cinestill 800T. So I really hope to get more opportunities to shoot that, because I do like the look of the tungsten, and it's definitely different from Kodak films, which tend to be more warmer tone, and tungsten is a lot cooler. But I think that's part of the charm with the halations and everything of the film, and that's why I like it. So that is it for this video. Thank you so much for watching. I'm still learning on this film photography journey that I'm on, so if you like these type of videos, please like and subscribe and comment below what your favorite film stock was. Anyways, thanks again for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye!